Hello.
All right, good morning, Facebook Live family and Zoom group and all of that. Oh, wow, it is Saturday. What is this? February 12th, right? Iris, and we are Angle and Volkers Honolulu. Well, I'm going to bring Randy on. I was going to introduce him, but he can hang in there while we do our housekeeping. He went off. Okay. But anyway, we are live here on our Facebook Live. Today is February 12th, again, 2022. Wow, 2 more days, guys, 2 more days until Valentine's. So make sure you get the flowers, the cookies, the candy, the Cocoa Puffs, and all of that. Get it to your loved ones so they'll feel loved. But anyway, okay. So thank you again. It is February 12th, 2022. Gorgeous day, right? We got the background here. This is Magic Island, but it is a gorgeous day today in Hawaii. Just a little bit of who we are. We're Angle and Volkers Honolulu here, a brokerage firm that does real estate. But Iris and I and Dale, we have a team that we work with the Kapuna or the senior community, but also not only that, but we have a lot of different age groups also. So today, a lot of our Zooms, we do our educational Zooms. We are a real estate company, so that's a disclaimer. We'd love to help you with buy, sell, invest, do all that other stuff with your real estate. But we are really here also to bring in really good speakers, vetted ones, the ones that we know, smart, successful, they know what they're talking about, and we love them because they're just really good people that want to help. So we do that. And today we have an awesome one. I'll share who that is in a bit. But before we begin, I just wanted to make sure that I introduce, or Iris, go ahead and introduce who you are. And thank you to our guest.
Yeah, thank you, Barbie. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for taking time out this Saturday to join us. We've got a great presentation for today on the Las Vegas market. My name is Iris Griego. I'm just honored to be on Barbie's team. I just really appreciate the valuable information that she shares every Saturday on the Zoom. And if there's a way that we can help you, be honored to do that. And again, I'll turn this over to Barbie. Thank you.
Thanks, Iris. Yeah, and then we also have Dale that she couldn't come on today because she's watching her grandkids and all that, so family, so life happens. Okay, but anyway, as the attendees come on, this is a webinar session, so a lot of the attendees, you will not be shown on screen, but you'll be able to, especially if you registered early, you'll be able to ask questions, put it in the chat for Randy or myself or Iris later, and then we'll make sure we answer it. If you are on or watching us live on Facebook, you can also put your comments in, and as we're doing this, we'll also share it to Randy, and he can kind of say whatever he his answers. Now, the other thing is, because it's live, the cool thing about that is you can watch it later. The coolest thing about this, though, if you register early and you come on, we have a couple of prizes that you can win. You got to be present to win, so you can register. We got about 25 people registered, but if you are in our Zoom room, you can be able to win this. Okay, $1 million prize. Okay, that's a couple zeros, right? 25 million, that's a few zeros. Okay, but the one day, Iris, one day we can give that kind of stuff out. But the other thing is that how our platform is, many of you know that when we do our Zoom sessions, we do our Zoom in the beginning, and then at the very end, we ask a couple questions live, but at the very end, we cut the Facebook Live and we go into an executive session. And this is a cool part because you can have a one-on-one time with these experts that are going to come and speak. So you can ask your intimate questions if you need to, okay? Stories and stuff. All right. But before we get right into Randy, because I'm all excited to hear what he has. And one thing to make sure you know that I am also a licensed real estate broker there in Las Vegas. So I have my license there, as well as I have a license here in Hawaii. So I can certainly bring in speakers, or I can also talk about Las Vegas real estate since I am licensed in both states. So just a little bit of a disclaimer there. Okay. But before we begin, I'd like to make sure, can you see my shared screen? Give me a thumbs up. All right. So what this is a random name picker. So what we're going to do, of course, it has a Las Vegas background, right? Because one day we'll be able to go and visit Randy up there, and we'll see some property, go win some mega bucks and stuff. But we have some of the names that are on the screen. Some of them are not here, but they will because they registered. And I know once you register, okay, Pam. Okay, Pam Debebar, I have you here, and I'm going to make sure that I put you on here. And if you're on screen, great. If you're in the Zoom, great. If not, get in before we close at 11 so you can get your prize. Otherwise, sorry, Pam, we got to go to the next name. Okay. I'm going to give you two. Okay. So the next person that registered, thank you so much. And some of you, if you registered late, don't worry, I'll get your name on, and then hopefully we'll get it on the next one, the last one that we got. Okay, again, it's a great gift. Stanley Ing. Okay, Stanley, another frequent flyer person, has always been on our Zooms. And, you know, thank you so much, guys, for being a great part of starting this educational sessions that we have. Okay, so again, we'll cut that out. Okay, so now what I'd like to do for sure, I'd like to introduce our speaker today. We have Randy Hatada, and I'm going to go ahead and have him come on. Come on down, Randy. Okay, thank you. Okay, he got the great background. But Randy, what I'd like to do is real quick, I want to share I'm going to have Pat. Pat is our operations guy in the background. So I'm going to have him share just something very nice picture. I know, and it's so professional. So, you know, I love it because it really depicts, you know, your company very professional, how you run with a team. I know this was what, in 2019. So a little while ago, but Kama'aina magazine, I'm going to have you share a little bit about, you know, what you do for on the Ninth Island and things like that. You can go ahead and talk about that and share about that. But I like to do that. But one more thing I just want to share, because you're a fun guy, and you know, I don't know, I like working under your leadership. You've done so much. You know, when I got my license with Las Vegas, you know, with Expand, immediately, you know, just your faith in God, but also the way you just walk your talk, you know, things that you want to do, and how you want to help your agents as well as the people out there. And Vegas is another animal out there, right? There's a lot of things happening. But what I'm going to do, hold on one second. I want to make sure that I can share something that I found.
Uh-oh.
It was here. Oh no, where is it now?
What did Barbie find?
Hang on. Hopefully, oh, wait, hopefully. Wait now. If it happens, it happens. If it not, I gotta come back later on it. Wait now. Okay, hold on. I can try to do this. Hold on. I'm gonna see if this works.
It did.
And I don't know if you guys can see this. You might not be able to see it, but let me try it out.
Oh my God.
No, not yet. No, don't say, oh my God, yet. And you're probably going to hate me for this, but that's okay, because I found this. It's just a cool, he talked about balance, and he's all about balance, and he is starting to be very balanced. He's a father, a husband, a leader, and everything like that.
There you go.
Not too bad.
Okay, sorry, I just wanted to share that.
Holy moly.
I think that was so cool. And I think I'm stopped sharing, right? Okay, I'm off screen. I
Note to self, I did better later in the day.
this is probably a long time ago, but when I saw this, and I know this is a private video, but I thought I'm sure it's okay. And the reality is you can't really see who you are, so you could just say that wasn't me. But one of the one of the greatest things is, you did talk about, and you keep saying, I need to do, I have to have my balance. I have a son, awesome son. You guys go fishing, you do all kinds of stuff. And I know that. And then on top of that, you're leading Expand Realty with a bunch of agents, very successful. You are very successful in everything that you've done. Just a really quick read as it says that Randy, you found success in real estate, not only in business transaction, but awards of distinction. You were ranked top 250, number 6 in some of the real estate productions on the third quarter in 2018. But I'm sure now you are definitely doing a lot of stuff. You are on the board of realtors for great Las Vegas. So you share that. Hey, hats off to you, because what, 15,000 plus?
We have 17,400 members right now.
Crazy. So I'm gonna have you share all of that. But you've been honored in top producers in REEAA, that division right there. A lot of different things. I'm so proud and so honored and so blessed, Randy, to have you take your time on a Saturday for us. So you can take it away. I'm gonna let you. We're gonna get off screen, and then we're gonna come back on in about half an hour or so. Okay, you can do whatever you want.
Well, thank you, Barbie. I'll be able to ask you questions still.
What is that?
I'll be able to ask you questions as I go on.
Oh, yeah. So what I'll do is I'll get off screen. You can share about your market, the market in Las Vegas. I know a lot of stuff is happening. I know Governor Sisolak has just lifted that mask, right? You don't have to wear a mask in the indoors. Anyway, you can share about that. Your thoughts about where a market in Las Vegas is going. A lot of people want to know, should I buy now? Should I get out there?
I hope you guys are ready. That's a lot coming at you.
Okay, so you share whatever you want to, and then we'll always have you come back again, and maybe I'll find another video. Okay, all right, here we go. Go ahead, and I'm gonna stop my video. All right.
So just give me a thumbs up when you're ready. Okay, well,
Good.
So should I start, Barbie?
Go right ahead, Randy. The floor is yours. Remember now, you're on Facebook Live, just so behave yourself.
Okay, I'll behave myself.
Okay, here we go.
So, well, thank you, Barbie. You told me stuff about myself that I probably didn't even know about myself, so I appreciate that. I've been working hard in the real estate industry for a very long time now. I think similar to the years Barbie has in this business as well. I'm originally from the Big Island, born and raised in Hilo, Hawaii, and I moved to Las Vegas about 23 years ago. As I've progressed in my career, well, first of all, I became a broker. Well, I started Expand Realty and became their principal broker about, 11 or 12 years ago now. And we have a lot of Ninth Islanders in our company, and it's been an organic growth based on a lot of similarities, as you guys know, and in conjunction with the Coconut Wireless. So yeah, just a little bit of background. As I progress in my career, it's not all about sales, as you said, Barbie, and it hasn't been in the beginning. In the beginning it was a lot about helping people. And I remember my wife Terry telling me, "Why are you doing all this? You don't even make $1, like helping someone, like find a couch and do whatever they needed to do." But what it did is make me a connector to Las Vegas for a lot of our Ninth Islanders and people in need. And eventually it did connect down the road to real estate when people were ready to buy, rent, sell, whatever it was. So, worked very hard on establishing that network and making friends and whatnot out here. Again, it's been about 23 years. And as I hit basically where I'm at right now is, like just basically helping people like yourself, supporting people like Barbie who are still, working really hard. And as she said, I am working on my work-life balance. And that means like juggling work with family and everything else, because I dedicate a lot of my beginning years to my career. which has been a little hard on my wife. She'll be the first one to tell you, but just getting better at that and putting more time with my son and wife and all of the above. So thank you for having me on a Saturday, Barbie. I'm just kidding. I'm a realtor and we do work on the weekends. With that, I keep my motivator right in front of me, and it's a fishing reel. So, that is like kind of like my visual board on where I'd like to be. And that's why we work so hard. Um, with that, I'll tell you what's going on with Las Vegas. We are busy here in Las Vegas as practitioners in real estate because the market's so busy. And the best indicator, if you ever see me around to figure out if the market's busy or not, is to see my do. And right now I have a very big hairdo, longer than normal, which means that we're super busy and I don't have time for a haircut. Well, you're gonna find that I'm gonna shout out some dry humor, and I'm gonna continue with that for the rest of the day. So you're gonna have to bear with me. And if you don't like it, I apologize in advance. So with that, Las Vegas is crazy. It is still a very strong seller's market, similar to Oahu, but we're still different in many ways. And what I can do is I'll share my screen with some of the statistics and all of the above. Barbie, just if you could shout out and let me know that you can see and hear everything clear, or just chat me.
Yeah, go ahead. You want to share I think you should be able to share your screen.
Okay, I will start sharing. I just don't want to be out of breath and have to do it again. So I want to make sure that we're all on board here. All right. So I'm going to share the screen. So can you guys see the screen here?
Perfect. We see the stats that you have. Yep. Good.
Very cool. So now I have January stats. And a lot of the stats that we looked at is reactive, and we were working off December stats maybe a week ago or so. And the crazy thing is that things have changed dramatically over a month, and that's Las Vegas. For you. So we got to keep up like pretty much on a daily, weekly basis, and for sure on a monthly basis, because 1 year from now we'll be in a total different market. But with that, I'm going to share with you some crazy stats here. So right now we are up right here 26% as far as sales price from last year at this time. Our average price point is 435,000, and we only have 1,821 available single family home. And that's over a 20% reduction in inventory, which is a 0.7 month supply. And I guess what is critical for you to understand to really fathom how important this 0.7 month supply is that in a healthy seller's market here in Las Vegas, a 3-month supply would be considered a healthy seller's market. Nationwide, a 5-month supply could be a pretty decent seller's market. So right now we are experiencing a 0.7 month supply, which is extremely low. And that is the reason why prices are going up and continue to go up, amongst other things such as interest and relocation, which we'll get into. But, again, 0.7 month supply. And if you're looking at condos and townhomes, even less. It's a 0.5 month supply. And your average condo being about $243,000. So these are some critical numbers to understand. We've come up a lot from yesterday and, over the past 5 years, and so pretty aggressively. But with that, we still have investors here, and I'll tell you why that's relevant. We still have investors here because rents have also gone up dramatically. And, as you have to live somewhere, so you're either going to buy or you're going to rent. And with that, being that prices have gone up, rent has also gone up dramatically due to a shortage of inventory. In fact, the shortest supply for rentals ever as well. Thus, our cap rates, or our return on investment based on cash flow, is pretty lucrative. So with that, we still have investors today. The reason I bring up investors and why it's so important to this chart here is the fact that the reason we have such a low supply of inventory that a lot of people don't know about is not only because buyers are buying them, but it's the fact that hedge funds are here buying them, meaning your not corporate America, but your financial institutions are gathering money and placing money in the Las Vegas real estate market. And hedge funds tend to be some of the sharpest people in the world running them. And the reason why they're buying so much homes in Las Vegas is different than why they did it in the past. So in the past, we had that big market drop or crash, whatever you want to call it, come 2010-ish. So about that era. And the hedge funds and all the investors were here because housing was cheap or very low. Today they're not here for that reason. They're here because money is cheap and interest rates are very low. And based on that, they're buying as much housing and condos as they can potentially get into their portfolio with unlimited supplies of money. So they're buying. So to clarify, they're coming into our market and buying cash under our median price point at 435. That's what their business model is. They come in, they buy these houses, they fix it up, remodel it, make it very fancy, and then they get premium rents for doing so, thus helping their numbers to work. And they're doing this for two reasons. One is to expand their portfolio so they can take on new accounts. Two is for mainly, along with taking accounts, they need the cash flow to do so. So the cash flow is one reason. And the second reason is to hedge against inflation. And if you guys follow our financial world, even at a very high level, inflation is going to happen. It's inevitable. It's just a matter of how fast and how much are we going to see it. So to hedge against this inflation and our dollar getting less and less as far as value, Hedge Fund America are buying real estate in Las Vegas, particularly very heavily. And what this means to us consumers and, mom and pop investors, and then people moving here and buying or whatever it is that prices are going up, and that's for sales and for rentals. And so that is kind of the full picture. And a lot of people don't understand why. That's the reason why the hedge funds are going head to head with our owner occupants and our regular consumers, buyers, and driving the market up. And how do you beat cash? The only real way to beat a cash offer is, there's a lot of different ways, but the main way is that people are bidding higher and higher. Some people, putting appraisal clauses in there saying that if the house doesn't appraise, we're going to cover the balance or the deficiency in the appraisal, thus pushing the market up, 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 up. And in any real estate market, the only way the market goes up and we get appreciation is when someone is willing to pay more than the last person or the last few people. And based on that, that is how we are coming up in price. And so what you guys don't know is that last month, if I had given you the same spiel, our average price point was $425,000. So unfortunately for buyers, 1 month later, it is now $435,000. So in short, we came up $10,000 in a month, which is crazy, but that's our market. And when we talk about inventory, it's based on homes that are available for sale. But what about new builds? The stereotype about Las Vegas, or the assumption is that Las Vegas in general, I'm going to stop the screen share for a minute. So Las Vegas in general is a desert. However, we're in a valley and we're surrounded by mountains. So the assumption is that we have endless land to build on, which is not true. The truth is that we're in this little valley that runs north and south California to Utah, and we're surrounded by mountains. So we're landlocked, similar to Hawaii, but instead of the Pacific Ocean, we have mountains, and we can only go up and down the valley, and that's it. And so within this valley, there's only about 10% buildable, privately owned residential land left. And that's it. Other than that, you got to start commuting from the outskirts, such as Pahrump, Sloan, Laughlin, Beatty, all these little towns, which is about 45 minutes to an hour away. So there's a commute. But in the greater Las Vegas area, that is all we have. People may ask about water. Well, water, based on the shortage of water, until the government figures it out, which is just basically paying the money to bring it in or create it through the desalinization plant that hasn't been built in California yet. But the point is that money can buy water to get water here, which is what's going to be needed, or they can buy water rights from the mountains or so forth, so forth. But if they don't fix this problem soon, which I don't think they're going to have a solution anytime in the near future, the government is saying we're going to stop building. So there'll be a building moratorium, stopping new development at some point in time, thus also slowing down or limiting inventory. And again, because we have such a low supply and high demand, what happens? Prices go up. Now, the factor that we are trying to figure out where we're going to be in the near future, the factors at hand are that interest rates have gone up 3/8 to 5/8 of a point, which has started to affect, of course, our buyers, right? Because as interest rates go up, people won't be as aggressive to buy properties, or they'll may even get pushed out of the price point that they want to buy in. So, as practitioners, we always look at, should I buy now? Should I buy later? Well, right now, or sell now, sell later. Right now, like, we don't just analyze the market and answer that question, but we look at your scenario as an individual or what your goals are to answer that question, because there's a lot to be considered than just the market alone. And so when someone asks me, is it the right time to buy? Well, the question back is, what are you trying to accomplish? Are you going to live there? Are you looking to rent it? Are you looking for cash flow? Are you looking for appreciation if you're an investor? And if you're not going to buy now, what's the alternative, right? So with that, knowing that interest rates are going up in the near future, within the next year and 2 years, which leads to some volatility. Should I buy now or should I buy later? Well, right now prices are high, but is it going to get better? And if you as a consumer think it's going to get better, by how much? How much do you think this market's going to adjust? 5%, 10%, 20%? And how long will it take? And based on these kind of conversations, if my buyer says, well, I think we're going to drop probably 10% in a year, no one has the real answer. So it's all throwing darts at that dartboard and using the best data we have to figure this out. But it is guesses. And basically, once we come up with, okay, well, I think it's going to go down 10% in 2 years. So we take that and we figure out how much, if they're an investor, how much rent is that, or how much cash flow does that equate to in 2 years? And is the cash flow more than the 10% discount? And then we compare apples and apples. And if the rent is worth more, then maybe why wait for a discount if you're going to be in the positive by buying now based on the mathematics behind it. Also, if you think the market's going to go down in the future, well, how much do we think interest rates are going to go up within that time period, right? And change the cash flow algorithm. So it gets a little bit mathematical, and we can help you with that. Again, no one has a crystal ball on where we're going to be, but that's kind of how we analyze a situation. Same for homeowners, like you're looking to purchase, is it better to buy now or later? We know it's high now, but is it going to get higher or is it going to get lower? And if it, regardless which way it goes, where will interest rates be and how will that affect me? And what's the alternative? Renting until the market does dip, if you think it's going to dip, And how much is rent going to cost you during that wait period? Same as the investment scenario, right? Whereas a lot of people forget that a mortgage payment, a good chunk of that mortgage payment goes towards your own principal. So your own house savings account, right? Kind of like that. Whereas rent is 100% expense to you as a renter. It gives you flexibility, but it's 100% expense. Whereas making a mortgage payment, which is fixed for 15, 30 years, whatever it is, a portion of that goes towards your principal, which is not an expense, right? It goes towards your equity or your house savings account. So we look at things like that to figure out where the market is. We can always tell you where the market is today, but anyone who tells you where we are in the future, they are guessing. Because anyone who would have guessed or told you where we are during COVID, right, the last 1 or 2 years, and said that, yeah, I would have predicted that we would have been here, I would question that person, because most of the world, including myself, did expect some kind of adjustment or dip during COVID, but we did the exact opposite. So it's pretty crazy what's going on. I can go more and more into numbers and stuff like that, but I'm trying to keep it on a higher level, basically looking at the big picture of things. And we are hoping for more inventory in the near future, being that it is spring, and a lot of sellers and a lot of listing agents, their rationale, including my own, is maybe wait till spring, which is right around the corner or right now, to list your home, versus December and November, which is the holiday months, including New Year's and New Year's Eve. So we have had shortages of inventory in January, December, November, but I expect inventory to get a little better, being that a lot of sellers have held off to sell their homes in a spring market, because a lot of people, the assumption is that based on traditional real estate, that's the best time to sell of the year. Maybe not as much in Hawaii, and Barbie, you guys can educate me on that, because you guys don't have winters, right? And stuff like that, which could slow things down. Here, we do have seasonal changes, and it does affect buying. Not as much as most of the United States, but being that we're on the West Coast, and we don't have the snow and all of that, but we do get affected during December. And a lot of times we do see a little bit of a slowdown. So bouncing off that, we are expecting more inventory coming. But on the flip side, guys, again, the hedge fund monies are here, and they're gonna continue to buy for a while. So coming from these people I know within these hedge funds, that is their plan. What you should also understand about Las Vegas is that we are like the migration mecca of the United States right now, right? Everyone's moving to Las Vegas, and you guys all know the reasons on a high level. So I'll keep it real simple. I mean, at the end of the day, a lot has to do with cost of living, cost of doing business, job opportunity, which all affect someone's financials, right? And with COVID, it gave a lot of companies the ability to work remotely, or the confidence to do so, from entrepreneurs to staffing. And so a lot of people are moving here to take advantage of the cost of living, but they still retain their jobs on wherever their job is, so that allows a lot of people to move here. And what you might not know is that there's 139 people becoming residents in Las Vegas every single day. That becomes about 6 people an hour becoming Nevada residents. So it is absolutely crazy on how fast we are growing. And to give you a very high level scenario on our growth, we were at about 2 million people on the year 2015. We are currently at 2.4, and we're projected by the US Census to hit 3 million people. So if there's 600,000 people coming here in the next 8 years, which we're kind of on pace to do, we'll have 3 million people. However, we don't even have the housing for today to facilitate the people here today. So what's going to happen? Builders are going to have to build as fast as they can, which they're trying right now, and they're not keeping up with the demand. So prices go up, and that's what we're witnessing right now. It's just a simple supply and demand factor that is leading to all of this. And the majority of the people relocating here is coming from California, because you're looking at a 4 or 5 hour drive across the border from one of the most expensive states. And they are similar to Hawaii as far as expenses are concerned. Jumping over the border, becoming residents, and then now pursuing their dreams of becoming homeowners. That, or pursuing jobs, or pursuing opportunity, or pursuing America's playground, whatever it is, they're coming. And that's the bottom line. And as you guys know, I can guarantee you, everyone on this screen listening in can name probably at least 5 people that have moved to Las Vegas because the Ninth Islanders, which is what we call it, are migrating here. And just so you guys know, I'm very pro Hawaii. I've talked about this before, but people are moving here just for opportunity, and I don't blame them for doing so. So with that, like, we're not trying to take anyone from Hawaii, but if Vegas makes sense for them and presents opportunity for a better life, better lifestyle, or someone's dreams of homeownership or traveling across the continental United States in a car, mobile home, then so be it. It makes sense for that person. And so that's the people we support who have those needs. And, we're just basically helping them here. But I can tell you here, I've been here again, 20 some years, 23 years-ish. I still have a lot of local friends, and we still do a lot of Ninth Island things, including probably, maybe not, watching the Super Bowl in a garage, right? With the potato chips and everything else. So a lot of things are very similar. The people are similar. I still have a lot of friends. The difference between here and being on the Big Island is that here, I still have a lot of local friends, but it's a variety of different people from different islands, which is very nice. In Hawaii, you guys know this, we're restricted by the different islands, being separated by an ocean. So it's hard to create those relationships and make friends without being on the same island. Here, all the different islands collect, the 8 islands, and we become the 9th island. So I have friends from all the different islands, which is really nice. So I have friends here locally. We have all the food here locally, because I don't know if the food follow the people or the people follow the food, but we have a lot of local food. Plate lunch is right around the corner. Poke is right around the corner. Really, what it comes down to is the only thing we're really missing is the Pacific Ocean. And I miss that. If Barbie hasn't told you, I'm an avid fisherman, or father of a fisherman. I guess I shouldn't call myself a fisherman. I like to fish. But my son is a fisherman, and the irony is that we do that every weekend that we can, even here in Las Vegas. So when we're not flying home to Hawaii to do so, sometimes we'll drive to California if we want to hit the ocean. If not, we're in the lakes and rivers here in Las Vegas, which there are, or we're traveling to Utah, which is our favorite, and we catch a lot of trout and bass and catfish, but we really love the trout because we actually eat that one. And then we travel to Arizona, California, and all the surrounding states, which is really nice. So again, the only thing we're missing is the ocean in general, and the next best thing is the rivers and lakes. So we're doing that, or driving to California and hitting the little bit of colder ocean on that side. I think I'm hitting the half an hour mark. Barbie, what do you think?
Oh, hold on, let me, okay, unmute. No, that's awesome. I mean, you could be sharing a whole bunch of other things. I know you just not even the tip of the iceberg. You just probably just hit, I mean, so much, like I said, again, not only the real estate side, but the lifestyle, right? Not only in Vegas, you know, a lot of people, especially for me too, in the beginning, right? I've been investing in Vegas for years already. And so that's how why I got my license. But in the beginning, it was more like, I don't gamble. I mean, I'd like to make money, but I'm so chintzy, you know, like every time I go to the machines, I put money in, I get some, I cash out. Okay. I mean, that's how I roll. Okay. So at the end of the day, my $20 in, I'll get my $20 back. Okay.
You know what? You know what? If you live here, and you'll probably hear this from most of the locals, the more you live here, the longer you live here, the less you probably gamble and the less you'll probably spend time on the strip.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And if you are gambling the way you are when you were a tourist, you probably shouldn't be living in Las Vegas, because this is the wrong place for you. They didn't build these casinos for free, right? So we paid for them somehow.
Exactly. And you know, the thing too is after you understand it, like I said, you know, you have so much other things. You got the fishing, you got the hiking, you got the, you know, the shows definitely. But the strip is only what, 4 miles up and down versus the whole, right? In Las Vegas. I think Las Vegas up and down, north and south is about 30 miles. I mean, including Henderson up and then 30 miles, right? So it's not a huge area in a sense, but you figure there's so many homes, so many different communities, so many different demographics and things like that. And then that's why working with someone like Randy or Expand Team, again, I'm going to always say, you know, disclose I am licensed there too. So we have access to all of that data, not to tell you where to live or why to, but we're going to show you, we're going to give you the sites to go look yourself. You know, where do you think, is it on this side of the freeway or that side of the freeway? Is it up in, you know, up in Aliante side, on the Aliante, or down in Henderson? You know, different things. I did want to share really quick, Randy, with you that, yeah, in 2021, when I sold someone a property here in Hawaii, they said, you know what, I'm older, let's go retire. I want to just go to Vegas because I want to every now and then go to a show. I don't like to gamble. So we sold their place in Waipahu. 298,000, 2 bedroom, 1 bath, you know, in one of the, you know, it was nice. But it was one that they just, you know, they just wanted to go ahead and sell it. We sold it, they cashed out, and then they go ahead and buy up DR Horton, brand new smart home meanings, all the bells and whistles, right? Stuff that they needed to learn. Nice 3 bedroom, 2 bath home, upstairs, downstairs, for, yeah, a little over that, but they went all cash. So things like that. This is not for everyone, but there are opportunities. And if it's that time of your life, transition wise, why not check into what this is all about? And that's why it's kind of nice to have this connection with Expand Realty with Randy. Again, like I said, he is on the board. So his ethics, you know, the way he does things is high up there. I mean, his standards are awesome. And so this is how he teaches, or he trains the agents and everybody else who's under him. And I thank you, Randy, for your leadership and always bringing that information to us.
Well, let me throw this nugget out there, you know, like, because there's a bad stereotype or understanding of what Las Vegas really is, especially with the locals. Because what do you do when you come here? You go to the strip, you go downtown, and all you see is casinos, right? And so I use the analogy all the time, you know, you know, unless you get out there in a car, you really don't know what Vegas is all about. And I use the analogy of, like, just imagine being on Oahu, staying on Waikiki, right? And all you know is Waikiki, and that, you know, that's not the same as all of Hawaii, right? So
Right.
it's the same here. Most people understand the strip, but until you start exploring outside the strip, which again, us locals, we don't go to the strip that often, unless you work there, or, you know, or you're under, maybe like probably under my age and you're still having fun on the strip and stuff. There's a whole city that most don't know about. So very different than what the stereotype is of Las Vegas, you know, with the casinos and all of the above.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, you know, I'm gonna make sure that I stay. Like I promised, I'm gonna get you off of this Zoom so that you can go and spend time with your son and your wife before Terry kills me, right? If I keep you on too long.
We're fine. You're fine.
Okay, but before, and we have a couple of questions in the chat, so I'll get to that right away or in a second before we go off of Zoom. And then when we go off of Zoom, some of the people can ask a little more detailed questions with you. Yeah, so that's a kind of cool thing to be in our Zoom room. But for now, just again, I just wanted to make sure that everyone knows that the information that is given today is today's numbers, right? Because later on, like Randy said, next year legislation changes, right? Bills change, but today is what it is. So any information you hear today and on Facebook Live are numbers that we hear today, today's date, right?
Well,
February.
Vegas moves at light speed, so 1 week from now, this might not be that accurate. Who knows?
And talking about light speed, I know that there is a rail being planned very
There
soon,
is.
right? So now Los Angeles to Vegas, and therefore will, I mean, even more so, more people are going to say, hey, I can live here and I can live there, and boom, 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 get on that speed rail. And so watch for that, guys, because we will keep you updated on anything that happens moving forward in Vegas. Like you said, look at what's behind you, that Oakland Stadium. That came up quick.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Pro Bowl just happened here. And about that train, it was actually it's a local girl actually running that project. So pretty cool stuff.
Wow. Okay. So we got a lot of great stuff happening in Vegas. Again, why are people moving to Vegas? Because of price, right? Things that are worth here are maybe worth 3 times, more, and even your income, right? We're talking about what you make here. It goes further up there in Vegas. So different reasons why you move, different reasons why you stay. But the most important thing that we want to do, or I want to do here in our team, is to educate you guys, is to tell you what your options are, so that you don't, when you're in a place where, I wonder if I should do this, you come in, you talk to some of the experts, people that know or have done things before, and can kind of share more information.
Well, here's a disclosure piggybacking off that, Barbie. The reason why Barbie is a great fit for Expand Realty and vice versa, and that's why I support Barbie, is the fact that we, as realtors, we are in sales, but I really don't look in the mirror and see a salesman. We don't come from that approach. As Barbie said, we're more of a consultant, and we move based on information and good consulting based on people's needs. So with that, it's not a sales pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Las Vegas kind of sells itself or it doesn't. It either works for you or it doesn't. We're not saying buy Las Vegas just to buy Las Vegas, but if it makes sense, we help you facilitate that. So, the difference is that we come from a good place. We are looking to help. And if it makes sense, great. We'll help you get what you need. And if it doesn't, by all means, at least you'll be educated and you'll have that information to make that good decision, and I still love Hawaii, by all means. It's just Hawaii's getting a little expensive here and there.
Yeah, that's true. And we need a good team like that up there. Expand Realty is certainly a great team to be up there representing not only Las Vegas, but also people in Hawaii, helping them transition there. The other thing, Expand Realty has a huge, very excellent property management department, and he handles that too. And over 400 properties or so you guys manage, but it's run great. I mean, they're good people behind that whole thing. So again, if you are looking at investing, we've got a property management company. If you choose, hang your hat there, or hang your property there. So we could talk about that later. But yeah, so he's, like I said, Randy has that umbrella in his company. He's started off, like he said, a boutique kind of shop company, but because of his integrity and just his heart to do what's right and help people, it just expanded, but it's going to create even more opportunities for people. Okay, so we got a couple of questions, Randy, in the chat, and I'm going to share that right now. Let's go. Okay, and again, just one quick thing. What I heard was we make a living by what we make, but we make a life by what we give. And so I think we want to live, right? I mean, we want to make sure, yes, we live, so we sell things and we make money, but we want to leave a legacy. And I'm hoping that we do that, not only as realtors, but as people in general. Okay, but let me go ahead. And one of the questions earlier was the interest rates. Do you think that'll affect hedge fund buyers? Because I know hedge funds, sometimes they do hard money and they do all cash, but what do you think? the interest
Yeah,
rate?
it'll affect their buying at all. At the end of the day, just so you guys know, I gotta be careful on how I say this, but this is fact. Zillow's out of the buying flipping market because their calculations weren't working out as they planned it. But a lot of the financial funds are still vesting here while interest rates are low. As it get higher, they're gonna have to pull out, but I think they're gonna retain their portfolio because of the performance and hedging against the future inflation. So they hold their portfolio, but I do believe that they're gonna slow down in the buying.
Okay, awesome. We have another question. What do you think the bidding climate is like now? And it says he mentioned 9 to 12 months ago, a good listing could get 10 to 20 offers maybe. Then last fall, a good listing could get maybe 5 offers.
It really depends on like the price point, of course, and the type of product. Again, condos are in lower, shorter supply than single families. If you're below the average 435 price point, a good listing goes up, meaning that it's priced where it's supposed to be based on its condition and upgrades. You're probably gonna see at least 5 to 10 offers today, which last year that same listing would probably get about 20 to 30 offers.
Yeah.
So we're not as aggressive as we used to be, but we are still in a very tough market as far as buyers are concerned. And that's kind of really where we help you navigate that, because it does take a lot to get acceptances in that affordable price range. And even in the upper markets, we are still seeing multiple offers. So still high demand, just not as intense as it was a year ago.
Yeah, yeah. And it's crazy because when we first got into Vegas in 10 years ago or something, we got together as a hui, right? A group, right? We all kind of got together, put our money in, we want to buy cash, right? So we had a manager doing others, but we all put our money, we could buy maybe like what, 55 cents on the dollar kind of properties, right? So we went in and we bought some, townhomes here and then it doubled, right? The amount, but there's no way that you could find that now. This is not the market.
Right now, a win is to get a property at market value, because most of the properties, especially in the affordable side, are going above market.
Yeah.
So to get a property at market or below is a win. It's very hard to do, but very doable. It just takes, good. It takes a commitment to do that, and then a good partner to do it with.
Yeah. And I know pools, a lot of people say, yeah, I want to get find me a house with a pool and, things like that. So those things are valuable. Those things are highly sought after too. So high demand, low supply, right, on property. Okay. One last question before we go off of Facebook Live, guys. Facebook Live, thank you for watching. But you got to register to be part of in the room after. But anyway, there was that question, and I can answer that when it's asked, hey, tell us the safest areas or the less crime, the basically that lead us to. Okay, so that answer is what we do. We can show you the data, right? The data of where things are going and why things are going. We can also give you some suggest some websites to go on, crimemapping.com. Those it'll tell you some of the places where there are felonies and misdemeanors and things like that. There's different ones. That's not the only one, but there's many others. But we can have you make that decision. So when you look at it, because some things we might see might not be like what you see or vice versa. Okay. So that decision has to be based on you. But good question. And we can certainly help you navigate through or what's going on in Vegas. Like I said, there's a lot of different communities. You don't want to just go in blindly. Especially if it's your money, you really want to get a good professional to, it doesn't have to be us, it can be any good professional, just to know that they know enough how to kind of tell you, show you be the source and not what did they say? Be the source of the source.
Well, here's a tip for everyone listening in. Like, if you're looking at buying or selling, you just need to know how to ask the question. And I'm going to give you a little tip here, because Barbie's a broker, I'm a broker, and we have rules that we have to follow, or it's our culianos that, get at the line there. So a way to ask is like, the question that she talked about, don't ask if it's a bad area, high crime, the ghetto, because we can't answer it in that format. But if you say what's a what's a highly desired area, or where do you live, where your family lives, we can answer all those type of questions, or we can help you reformat, because we can get you the answers. But a lot of the beauty behind Las Vegas is that a lot of the information is online, although we'll help you dissect and support the information. And that includes crime and school districts and all of the above.
Yeah, that's perfect. And we're the source of to be the source of the source. We can send you to things that show you stuff, and you dig, you look at it, you look at the information yourself. But definitely we have that information to show you where what areas have appreciated more than others and why. So that kind of stuff is all data we have, not only in Las Vegas, we have that here in Honolulu, which areas, right, go up higher and stuff like that. So that's all stuff that's all on paper. Okay, so I think if anyone else has, before we go off, you want to go ahead and share it, you can. I'm gonna allow you to just be unmuted and go ahead. You can unmute yourself certainly and just share what you want to, or you could ask another question, raise your hand while we're doing that, while I'm unclicking. Okay, anybody else has anything you guys want to ask? Randy, he's awesome. Okay, very successful guy too, so thank you for your time. Okay,
I see Beverly has a chat about what percentage of Las Vegas is made up of Hawaii transplants.
perfect. Okay,
I honestly don't have that answer as far as a percentage or an actual number. And that's a lot of it is like, we tracked it based on like the US Census and stuff like that. But even with that, it's very not accurate. And the truth is that I just don't have a clear number for you. There's a lot though.
okay, awesome. Okay, yeah, so good. So we're gonna, I definitely want to bring Vegas in a little more, just the information, because you hear a lot of things, right? Especially with this, even with Governor, right, Sisolak, saying
We
that
didn't even talk about that.
we didn't even, yeah, and he said, right, we're the mask mandate, he's going to lift that and come on down. And so there are some comfort levels. They feel that, yeah, we're ready to go, we're ready to open up. And the stadium is packed, filled with people. It's fun, it's exciting, they're living life. Being careful, wear your mask if you really feel you need to, which you should, if you wash your hands, do all that stuff. But let's make sure that we are aware of the facts of what's going on, and we hope to bring more information about Las Vegas. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and allow Randy to just maybe close his video right now. Everyone stay on screen. We're going to go ahead and do a couple of different housekeeping, and then we're going to pop off of Facebook Live. Okay, so Randy, I'm going to go ahead and
before you go, can I add this in there that we had a huge spike in COVID, Omicron, end of the year, December, January.
Okay.
And we based on the news and our statistics have come down off that spike to pre-spike. So we're back down to pre-spike conditions as far as COVID. And the governor has removed the mask, the mandatory masks. So we can breathe again. That doesn't mean you don't wear a mask. It just means that you have an option. And COVID counts are way down from where they were a month ago.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. So even if the infection rates are higher, maybe the hospital rates and all of that, how people are getting better then quicker, right, in a sense. That's what he's saying. So it's
well,
not,
there's less cases in general.
okay.
So yeah. I mean, we were pretty bad a month ago, but again, we're back down to normal pre-Omicron conditions right now.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. Well, that's similar to Hawaii. We're kind of coming down. Things are changing. So getting back into, people are, if anything, people are just appreciating just each other, one another, and just making sure that they're washing their hands and doing all that, and probably taking care of themselves a little better too. I'm thinking, right? Okay, so I'm going to stop your video, but Randy, if you can hang on just a few more minutes, so when we get off of Facebook. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Randy. All right. Okay, again, thank you so much, Facebook Live out there. If you're watching, or you're going to be watching shortly, and then also those who are here on our Zoom room, which is about 11 of you. And so let me go ahead and Randy, I'm going to go ahead and stop your video only because,
Okay.
yeah, thank you. Not that I don't like seeing you.
It's okay. I'm not offended. You didn't hurt my feelings.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. I love that video of you surfing. Okay. Anyway, let's see. We're gonna go ahead and give out another prize. And I know, let's see. I didn't see Pam on. So Pam, sorry about that. If you're watching us on Facebook tomorrow or something like that, sorry about that. I gotta give you gotta be present to win. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Here we go. I'm gonna share my screen. And we are gonna go ahead and Pat Pulitzer. Okay, Pat, I am gonna, well, congratulations. And you did give me a question. So you, I wish we had like a, you know, drums or something like that. But anyway, okay, or music. Okay, next time we're gonna bring that on. Technical difficulties. Here we go, Pat. So congratulations. Thank you for coming on. Another frequent flyer guy that always shows up. I appreciate you guys coming on, and it's good for the speakers too to hear some questions that you have. We will be bringing on, and I got Pam. I think Pam. Oh, Pam. See Pam twice. You should have been here, but you can't win this because you're not physically here. But call me or Iris if you were trying to log on and for some reason you could not get the link. Now remember, now when you register on Zoom, you get the link 1 week before, 1 day before, and an hour before. Sharon Lee, you are here for sure. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you, Barbie.
Congratulations.
Hey, you won, and you were actually the first one on our Zoom,
Yeah.
right? You were like so excited. You were like,
Yeah, thank you.
out, right? But hey,
Believer.
thank you guys for coming on. Again, we're going to get off, but before we end, I want to make sure and thank you from Engel and Volkers. We are a real estate company. We'd love to be able to help you from buying, selling, investing, relocating, or even helping you declutter. So if you're ready to sell, we can get from A to Z. I'll talk to you next week about how to get there. A lot of decluttering situations are happening there. Okay. But just to watch for our announcements, because on March 5th, we're going to have Diane Agor. She is our attorney, financial planner. Again, she's going to talk about what do you do with your estate? How do you put it in the right trust? What are you supposed to do and all that? So she's going to bring that on board. She's with Estate Planning Partners. And then again, in a couple of weeks after that, Nelson Oyadomari, okay, he is a lender from Primary Residential Mortgage, smart guy, another one, very great-hearted person, wants to help, but he is a regional manager for one of the larger banks and lenders, right? Brokers. Okay, so he's going to come, she's going to share about all different types of programs. So I want to make sure that I bring that stuff to you guys. All right. So again, it is February 12th, 2022, a Saturday. Don't forget, Valentine's coming on. Make sure you bring those flowers. Go grab it right now before it gets too expensive. Okay. And then make sure you do that. But again, Sunday, tomorrow, Super Bowl. Oh my gosh. The two teams, Rams and Bengals, I think. I don't follow it, but I'm sure it is. Sorry, Randy, your Buccaneers not playing this year, but that's okay. I know that they did well. Hey, I think, was it Brady that is no longer going to be the quarterback? I think.
You're trying to break my heart, Barbie.
I'm sorry. You know what? But the whole team in itself is moving forward. So the team, hopefully it just doesn't rise and fall upon one guy. But
we're in trouble.
Okay, but anyway, so we're gonna get off Facebook Live again. Don't forget Valentine's and Super Bowl tomorrow. Have an awesome week, guys. Until we meet again, March 5th. But make sure you follow us on Facebook Live. Okay, so we're going to be out. Everyone else stay on so you can talk a little story to Randy, chat with Randy. All right. Okay, so we are off. Randy, you can come back on if you like, just real quick. Yep. All right, awesome. So what I'm going to do, I just unmute anybody that, if you guys want to, I'm letting you guys, let's see, I'm just asking you guys all to unmute. If you have any questions for Randy before I let him go and be with his family, please don't hesitate. You don't have to click it in the chat. Just open your mic and say, hey, thank you, Randy, you're so awesome, or what.
You know what, Barbie? We work a lot with the locals and all that, and the one thing in common is that local people are shamed, they're shy. So so don't be shy. Throw it out there. Like I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have, please.
Okay, okay.
And if you don't ask, you're not gonna know.
And this group not shy, no.
Okay.
Pat, go ahead and open up your, yeah, Mike, go ahead.
I want to ask Randy, where in Las Vegas is your office located?
We are located right kind of in the middle near the New Orleans. So Southwest, which is 215 and Rainbow, right next to the Association of Realtors. But as far as casino direction, we're about 2 streets over from the New Orleans casino.
Okay. And to put that in perspective, as far as the strip, how far are you? Okay. Anybody else? Thanks, Pat. Anybody else has questions for
Hi,
Randy?
this is Dean. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I was the one that asked about the bidding climate in Vegas, and I'm thinking about doing a 1031. Selling one of the Kauai properties, and of course, doing a 1031. You have a limited window, 45 days, plus possibly like a two-week extension. So my plan is to maybe parlay the property Kauai property into either 2 or 3 properties in Vegas. So given the climate now, I'm just wondering how successful being able to win a bid would be, because I don't want to buy like a really cheap property where you have to like invest a lot of money to fix it up, but rather something that's turnkey, which I think that's what the hedge funds are looking for too, right? So,
Well, not necessarily, because the hedge funds go in and remodel, so they expect the condition is not that critical. But to answer your question, I would bounce that through Barbie, and I can help Barbie prepare on our end, because what happens is that a lot of people, they'll work. We work a lot with 1031s, and we'll start searching. A lot of people start searching reactively from when the sale sells, and that's when all the timelines start. The 45 days to identify, six months to close. The way we like to do it is to start searching and planning before it sells, and potentially even offering before it sells, because that gives us more than the 45 days. And it's critical to understand what it is you're trying to accomplish and looking for, because new builds can be an option, even though if you bought from dirt, it could take 6 months to build, which is very high risk. We look at builders, if you wanted to go brand new, for example, that have standing inventory or cancellation of escrows or something in construction. So we look at those kind of factors, because a lot of people rule new builds out, whereas it makes sense in today's market, being that the renters are willing to pay additional rent for brand new. So the numbers work for the first time in a very long time. But the long story is, bounce it through Barbie. I can help her get organized up front. The other thing that we have to facilitate things of pressure, time constraints, is that we have a lot of private stock, private inventory. We call them pocket listings, that you might not find on the public MLS, but we know about them, especially through our other investors and property management department. And the reason why a lot of owners don't go public is because it's tenant occupied, and for whatever reason, COVID or conflict of interest or unavailability due to work, it's really hard to publicly view and list a tenant occupied property. So we strategically do things sometimes in the back of the house.
Yeah. So like, again, I want to just put in this disclaimer that that's why being licensed is really important, because the licensing laws in Hawaii, certain things under is different from Vegas. I mean, even going through a lot of the classes and things. So we want to make sure that you guys all know that everything some things in Vegas is different from things that happen here in Hawaii. Okay, so make sure that when you're looking at selling something in Kauai, like, so for instance, right, Dean, you're looking at, it depends. I don't do Kauai, definitely. I don't do the other islands. I will refer that out to, because I'm not going to say because I want to make sure that you get the best thing, what you sell for the price wise and timing and all of that stuff. So that's something that we do refer. But in Hawaii or in Vegas, this is where Randy guys come in too. So their boots are on the ground. They know where things are going. When you do a 1031, it has to be investment to investment. So we want to really share and talk about, sometimes if you buy a brand new construction, it has to be a owner occupant, right, type of a condition. So anyway, so that's the kind of stuff Randy knows too, on how he gets people into 1031. So we can talk about that later. But it's a good, perfect idea to say, I'm going to sell my Kauai stuff and I got this much money. Let me identify this many properties just to see what's out there. Okay, you might not get them all, you might just get one, but at least you know what area, what location that you're comfortable in to build your portfolio in. Okay, so that's an excellent question, Dean, and we can definitely.
And to sum up Dean's question and answer, basically, there's a lot of pre-planning for 1031s. Very doable. We do it pretty often, actually. And, we normally don't miss timelines, but there is some risks. And that's something that obviously can be discussed. But the pre-planning work is critical because there's timelines involved.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Randy. So much. Oh, gosh. He has so much knowledge and all of that stuff. And as an investor himself, he also knows, how to kind of work numbers too. Okay, very important, your cash flow, and all of that, leverage, unleveraged, all of that. So you need to make sure that you understand the whole gamut when you're an investor. Okay, anyone else before we let him go? Anybody else? No? Okay. Oh,
I have one more question.
okay, go ahead.
So last year, I was kind of looking at the listings, the number of listings, and it seems like the summertime, it kind of peaks during the summertime. It seems to me that maybe summertime would be a good time to buy. Say that I would sell my Kauai property in the springtime, and then hopefully by the time it sells, then there'll be more listings available during the summertime. Would you say that it's an easier time to buy where there's maybe less competition, or is it still pretty competitive?
So it kind of like there's an offset going on, because when there's more listings, normally during that time, there's also more buyers, right? So like spring, summer, more listings, but more buyers also shopping at that time. So I wouldn't say it's better. We really just, try to pre-plan and figure out, timing based on what's best for Kauai and all that, because what might not be good is just looking at the buy side and not looking at the sell side as well, which is where Barbie or whoever in Hawaii can help you. So collaborating, like when's the best time to sell and when's the best time to buy, it just depends, because we try to maximize both sides.
Yeah, and the reality too, Dean, is this market is, it's so low inventory, right? And high demand. Interest rates are still pretty low. So whether in the summer, winter, fall, it's not like before, because people have money and they just need to park it someplace. And again, like when interest rates are in your 2.5%, 3%, it makes so much sense for people to buy a 500,000-600,000 home, right? Because at that interest rate versus wait. So it's a lot of numbers that people are looking at. So,
but a good idea, Dean, and where Barbie probably will point you to in the future, is that once you start selling in Kauai, you open escrow. That might be 30, 45, 60 days, depending on the type of property, maybe even 90.
mm-hmm.
During the escrow period, we start shopping already. And then, once you pass the buyer's diligence periods, where their earnest money goes hard, we start shopping a little bit more aggressively. So there's a good chance you'll already have something identified before you even close escrow and have your timeline start. And once you have property one locked down, it's easier to figure out how much the budget is for property number 2 and or 3 and all of the above.
Right.
We start before you close.
Yeah, that's perfect. And then also even just having renters in there already. So, right away, you don't have to be looking. If Randy guys are aware that somebody might want to sell, you know, and they have a renter already, a good renter in there. So things like that is huge. You know, when we're partnering and we're working with people in Vegas like that, that's huge. So Dean, you're in good hands, you know, if you decide to do that. Yeah. Okay. Harvey has his mic unmuted, and Harvey is an avid investor here. Go ahead, Harvey.
What was that?
Did you have a question? You have yourself unmuted.
Oh, no. I
No?
didn't. I think you answered it. The question was
Okay.
I had earlier in the open session was I just got back from Vegas and he was and I don't know the exact area he lives, but he was saying about how crazy the crime rate, I guess the violence, and he was even packing a gun. So I was just really, I guess, concerned. But again, I don't know the exact neighborhood he lives in, and but you know, you make a good point, and I just have to look at the crime rate, and it's just I don't know. I got to do your homework, I guess. But I think you answered it. You know, I don't know if you want to add to it. I think you answered it in the last session.
I'll give you a good tip, Harvey. When it comes to crime, don't just look for crime, looking at the crime reports. Look at the type of crime, because there's going to be theft and auto theft and all that everywhere, including the top areas. But what we look at when we look at crime rates specifically is kind of like more of the felony type situations and violence and guns, and those are the kind of areas that we get kind of like, how can I put it, Barbie? That's what we're targeting, you know, like we're looking to be aware of those type of areas. So specifically, I would look for that versus just overall crime.
Yeah. So yeah, good stuff. Again, when you're an investor, you got to know that there are risks, right, involved in anything, whether you doing Hawaii, Honolulu, Las Vegas, whatever, there is risk because it can stay vacant for a long time, or it can be rented and you can go crazy. You could do even a Airbnb or in certain areas. So there's a lot of stuff, guys. You know, if you know enough not to try to make it happen, and you have people that can help you, use that. I mean, I think it's worth it. I do that all the time, right? You know, so again, I think we're good today. Thank you guys for joining us. It is 11:15 on the nose. Randy, thank you so much for your time. We'll definitely get you back if we can, maybe for more updates.
Oh, my pleasure.
The last thing, real quick, Olympics. Was there anything you heard about the Olympics or anything coming to Vegas? Is that any news that
I have not, I don't have a good answer for you. I know there's talk about that. There's also talk about baseball and the Oakland A's coming.
Okay.
And you know, speculating on locations. And there's also talk about NBA basketball following up on that. But you know, I couldn't tell you that I know exactly what the answers are to that. I just know that there's talk about bringing it here.
Okay, got it. My husband just asked me. He said, "Ask Randy." Oh, why don't you ask Randy by yourself? Okay. Anyway, all right.
I'll be the first one to tell you when I don't know, though.
Okay.
But I'll help you find it out.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate all of you that stayed on the Zoom. Thank you for registering. Please continue to invite. You can share the link whenever we have more Zooms coming up. Please do, because it's great information. These guys are coming in and they're giving their time, especially on a Saturday. Randy's 2 hours ahead of us, so it's his lunch time, way past his lunchtime. But again, happy Valentine's Day to all of you, to Randy, to you and your family with Terry. Thank you guys for leading us, and see you all soon. Until next time. All right. Thanks, guys. Take care. Bye, Randy. Thanks. Appreciate it. All right.